Stakeholders may propose a change at any time to the scope, time, cost, or other aspect of a project. This is true more for the agile projects than waterfall ones. What to do with the proposed change? What are the next steps? How should the project manager ensure changes benefit the project? These are the questions addressed by the change management process that I will elaborate. Hello, I am Daud Nasir, project management coach and trainer. In this video, I will explain the project change management process from the point a change is proposed to the end when a change is successfully implemented. I will walk you step by step through what goes on during this whole process. Overall, change management process can be described as a process with 4 distinct steps. The first step is to identify a change. Well, someone, a stakeholder, has to come up with a thought that a change is needed. It means any project stakeholder can propose a change. However, changes are mostly requested by the project team members, project sponsor, subject matter experts, and other key stakeholders. According to the PMBOK guide, change requests are an output of 24 of the 49 processes. Except the perform integrated change control process, all the other 11 monitoring and controlling processes may put up a change request. If you think about it, a change request as an output of these processes makes perfect sense. The key objective of the monitoring and controlling processes is to do a variance analysis and see if things are going as per plan or not. So if there is a variance and the project needs some sort of intervention, then a change request will be created. Now, there are 8 executing processes that may suggest a change. You may wonder, how can the project propose a change during executing? The most common reason is that while performing the work, the team may stumble upon an issue that requires a change to the plans, project or product scope, or schedule and cost. I have seen this on a project where, due to a design flaw, it became obvious to my project team that they cannot continue with the development work. So a change request was put up. Same way, while developing and managing the team, the project manager may realize a change is needed to the resource management plan. For example, some sort of training may be required for the team to perform as expected. Interestingly, identify stakeholders, which is an initiating process, as well as few planning processes may also result in a change request. How can you have a change request in the planning processes when the baselines are not created yet? Good question. It is true that when team is identifying stakeholders and doing initial planning, there will not be a change request. But stakeholder identification can happen anytime throughout the project lifecycle. So a change may be needed to the project management plan. The project team may define new activities and update schedule when they do rolling wave planning, or when planning risk responses for newly identified risks, or they perform a make or buy analysis as part of procurement planning. All these instances may happen multiple times during the life cycle of a project. So except the first time during initial full-scale planning, the baseline and the control documents may require a change. That will necessitate a change request. Okay, so we understand now why a change may be proposed at different stages of the project. Second step is to document the change. Documenting means putting it in writing in the desired format. There are 2 types of documenting that happens here. One is that the change details are documented, and the other is that the change request is recorded on the change log so it can be tracked. The format depends on the organization, the templates, or other methods. For the change request, it can be a template that the proposer of the change fills out and hands over to the project manager or the change manager if someone has that role assigned to them. It can be an online form that the proposer puts information in and submits by pressing a button. The process can be that anyone who is proposing a change speaks with the project manager, who is the only person authorized to fill out the template form to create a formal change request. The change request status will be set as proposed on the change log once the change is documented. Now comes the third step, which is to evaluate the change and decide the course of action. Change evaluation can take many shapes and forms depending on how formal or informal is the change management process. In a formal one, the project team will analyze the impact of change on the project scope, time, cost, and quality. They may also consider if the change increases or decreases project risks and whether there will be resources to carry out the change if it is approved. If there is scope impact, then the team will ensure that the proposed change is in scope. If it is not, the change will likely be abandoned and the change log status will be set to abandoned. One important thing is that in scope also means that only the baselines and the documents that are being controlled are the ones affected. For example, schedule baseline, quality management plan, and so on. But documents like risk register, issue log are live documents and are not controlled documents. Which artifact is a controlled one is identified by CI or configuration item log or list. Now, if it is in scope, then the impact is estimated and quantified. For example, adding 1 week to the project schedule, or adding $10,000 to the project cost, or adding additional quality tests to the quality management plan. This information is added to the documented change request. If the project team and the project manager are planning to ask the change control board to approve it, the change log status will be set to recommended. The change control board, or in some cases only the sponsor, will review the change request. The CCB may approve the change request, outrightly reject it, or ask for more information, which is kind of rejection at that moment. Now, if the request is approved, the change log status will be updated to approved, and if it was rejected, the status will be rejected. If more information is asked, then status may be left as is. Once the project manager submits the required information, the change control board may approve or reject the change request. Okay, so what to do with the change request that has been approved? The fourth step is about tracking the changes. It includes ensuring that the approved change requests are implemented and verifying that these are implemented correctly. Implementing the change mostly happens on two fronts. One, update of a controlled artifact, like update the baseline or a planning document. And two, perform the work to create the deliverable or do the work to fix and correct the deliverable. Then check the quality of the deliverable, which can be under control quality or control procurement process. This will depend on whether the work is done by internal team or by a seller. The change request status will be set to implemented once the work is done and then set to closed once the quality has been verified. There is one more aspect of tracking. It is to ensure the configuration of all the controlled artifacts is intact and the integrity of the change management process is solid. No changes get dropped through the cracks. Only approved changes are implemented and the artifacts are kept up to date. While the change management process is in action, the project manager has to ensure that there is proper communication happening at different stages. For example, once the change request is approved, the project manager must communicate this to the requester and the affected stakeholders. Similarly, when work on the change request is completed, a communication makes much sense. So the whole process in a nutshell is a stakeholder proposes a change which is documented in the right format. Then the project team evaluates the change, after which the project manager recommends the change for approval. The change control board approves or rejects the change. The project team implements the approved change. Then the team checks the quality of the implemented change and closes the change request. Also, the change may be postponed for later review or entirely abandoned. You will see several questions related to change management process flow. Prepare this topic well and you will improve your PMP score. Good luck with the PMP exam.